when we sit down and think about what is happening at Wild Goose, it's to really make sense of our own stories, to map our stories onto a larger movement, but not a larger movement of progressive Christianity. I think Wild Goose is trying to do something else. I think Wild Goose is still trying to figure out who and what they are. And that's not a bad thing, right? Many of us are on the way. What's great about the possibility or the potentiality of Wild Goose being a movement is that if we take time to really ground ourselves in these questions of who we are and who do we want to be, we will better be able to live out the call and vocation of whatever Wild Goose is called to be. I think that Wild Goose is well poised to be a voice of departing from mainline Protestant liberal Christianity, which we know is populated largely by the dominant culture, which is white folks, and I think that the impact that Wild Goose can have is, as they are on the way of becoming, that they have a chance to really embody a sense of the politics of radical difference, to really be an impact on the world, whether it be ecological, right, or whether it be theological, or whether it be ways in which we reshape our social practices, or the ways in which we think about ethics. You know, a big piece of my work is to build bridges across lines of radical difference, and I bring a deep commitment to living out my vocation as a theologian and ethicist. I bring my commitment as a trans queer POC. I bring a commitment to living out ways in which we can translate theory and theology to our everyday social practices. Having a radical trans queer Latinx come and talk about the potential and possibility of politics in today's age, or, for example, inviting a radical trans queer Latinx to hold space for people of color. That, in many respects, is a contour of the becoming of Wild Goose. That Wild Goose sees the importance of holding space for radical difference. And what we know, right, this is where John Wesley was great, of sort of on the way to perfection. It's not there yet, but what we know about becoming is that the time of consistency and the time of pressure, things always change. And so these moments of becoming, whether it is holding space for POCs, whether it is addressing the crisis of healthcare, or the ways in which today's political landscape is one of dramatizing white supremacy, that I think Wild Goose is in that process of becoming, trying to pivot and shift the conversation of how we live out our call and vocation. There's a sweetness to the ongoing invitations that I receive from the leadership at Wild Goose, who continue to invite me in to contribute and live out my vocation as an activist theologian here. And so it's mixed with sort of my introverted awkwardness and also a deep sweetness that an affection, right, that these people invite me to contribute. Lots of folks are asking the questions of, they themselves are trying to figure out who they are. And you know, I even recall a question this morning with a seminary student who is trying to make sense of whether or not, if they will finish seminary, and that for them Wild Goose is the place where they can come and think and process. And so a lot of the questions I'm having, and I avail myself to people who like myself are on a journey home, right, to themselves. And I think that those are some of the best conversations we can have in spaces like this, where 2 years ago, I was told that I'm severed from my roots and that I need to find my way home. And so that critique has really carried me these past 2 years. And so I invite other people in here at Wild Goose, because that is the place where I was invited to come home to myself. That I have these conversations and invite others to sort of find their way, and however that looks for them, to find their way, to ground themselves in their roots and participate in this sort of becoming different in the world.